guys, welcome back to Crazy Dave's Kitchen and Freeze Drying Academy. Alright, a few episodes back I showed you guys how to make apple fries using the Fireball whiskey, okay? Well, this time I wanted to make an alternative that can be enjoyed by the kids. So what I found was a alcoholless, or alcohol-free if you want to call it that, Kentucky whiskey that's alcohol-free, and it's also cinnamon flavored. Now when I tasted this, it did not compare nothing like the Fireball, okay? So I decided to venture out, find out what I can find that will give me the same type of intense cinnamon flavor. So what I found was this. It is a super concentrated food grade cinnamon additive for like candy making and stuff. So I'm gonna add some of that along with this in hopes of making some amazing alcohol-free apple fries. Well, sit back, relax, enjoy as I show you how it's done. So what I did is I brought out my Marinade Express container. Now I'm not gonna tumble this apples in the actual Marinade Express tumbler. I'm just using this for vacuum purposes. So I'm gonna fill it up with the apples, add the alcohol-free whiskey, add the cinnamon oil to it, and that way there I can go ahead and vacuum seal it to really concentrate the intensity of that flavor. Get the flavors into the apple itself. But first, let's go ahead and put this off to the side because I need to core the apples. Then I'm going to go ahead and use my French fry cutter and dice them up. All right, so I ended up putting in the whole bottle of the alcohol-free whiskey into the Marinade Express container. And then I started tasting as I was adding this concentrated cinnamon oil in it. And I ended up adding 7 dropperfuls of that and mixed it up in here, okay? So now I'm gonna go ahead and core the apples and slice them up, put them in here. Then I'm gonna put my lid back on and vacuum seal them a few times. That way there, again, we can get that flavor inside the apples. All right, let's move this off to the side here. So now all the apples have been cored. Also make sure that you remove those little stickers because I don't think your friends and family want to be chomping on that. Grab your regular good knife, sharp knife, and we're going to cut them into quarters so that way there it goes nice and easy into the actual apple fry cutter. You'll see there's a sticker there. Make sure you grab that, take that off. Some of the apples may still have seeds on them. That's when you grab your paring knife right here, and we're going to go ahead and remove the actual apple seeds itself. So let me go ahead and finish chopping these up, and I'll bring you guys right back. Everything's been cut in quarters, and it's also been de-appleized or apple seeded, if you want to call it that. And I just saw one that had a little bit of a chunk here, so I'm just gonna go to the sink and kind of get that off. But simple, we're just gonna put the apples into the apple fry cutter, and you'll see that they come out like French fries. Look at that, beautiful. All right, so as you're cutting them, if you want, you can start throwing them into the little container that we have here and let them start soaking into that. Let's see, there you go. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish cutting all these up into the apple slicer here. All right, so I did decide that I am actually gonna go ahead and tumble this under vacuum because the actual marinade itself is actually very low. And I got a lot of apples in here. So I am gonna go ahead and tumble this, maybe like 5 or 10 minutes. Then I'm gonna go ahead and load them on the tray and get them into the freeze dryer. If you look real close, right about in here, you can see it starting to bubble. That's extracting the air out, and now it's gonna start sucking the marinade into the actual apples itself. So therefore, it already vacuumed it. Now we're gonna go ahead and, I like to release the air. So pay attention here, let's see. And actually you don't really hear it as much. Yeah, there we go. Now we're gonna do it again. We're gonna vacuum it. When you watch very closely, you might see the bubbles again. Just depends on the vacuum itself. And sometimes I'll even lift the little lid. Because I wanted to vacuum. And I wanted to kind of get in there and just kind of shake it up a little bit. And then I'm gonna hit it one more time. Do a double vacuum here. I know you can't really see much on camera right now, but it is sealing. And then we'll go ahead and get it onto the tumbler. So this is a tumbler. They don't even sell these things anymore. I've had it for a few years and I actually like it. True, they were a little overpriced, but it's a well worth machine. I use a lot of it when I do like my tri-tips and my beef jerkies, my marinated chicken. I use this thing a lot, so I'm gonna be pretty sad when it finally breaks down because it is an amazing machine. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and turn the vacuum part off. All right, and it just cleared the message. Then I'm gonna hit the chicken pork. The reason why is it gives me a 20-minute tumble. You'll see my screen starting to go out a little bit because I use this thing a lot. And now I'm gonna go ahead and tumble that. And you'll see that it's gonna start tumbling those apples into the actual marinade itself. So if we get really close and we look at the bottom here, right about here, you'll see that's where the actual juices are or the marinade is. So as the machine is tumbling, it's coating it with that marinade and under vacuum. So these are gonna come out really good. So we're gonna let these things sit in here about 20 minutes, which is the perfect amount of time to get that freeze dryer ready. So this thing's been tumbling for about 20 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the vacuum. And now I'm gonna go ahead and open the lid. And sometimes they're kind of hard. That one actually was pretty not bad. And I wanna taste the apple fry, okay? And I wanna see whether or not it's got the right amount of cinnamon. If it does, then we'll go ahead and put them on the trays and move on. If not, I'm gonna tumble a bit longer and probably add more of that cinnamon concentrate. So let's take a look. They got a little bit of cinnamon in it, which is good. Not a heavy amount, but when you freeze dry, things do evolve. I'm liking that so far, but I think what I might wanna do is just add a little bit more of, actually, no, you know what? I'm gonna leave them alone because now when I start enjoying it, I do get the cinnamon. So let's go ahead and get these babies on the tray and into the freeze dryer. All right, so now we got some gloves on and we're just gonna go ahead and scoop them out by handful. With the apple fries, it doesn't really matter if you do a lot. You just wanna make sure that you can safely, or I would say nicely neat, put them into your freeze dryer tray or your machine without it's sliding off everywhere as you're putting it in. So you don't want to overload the trays, but go ahead and, overlap them. It doesn't matter because they are going to freeze dry very, very well. Now, if you have anything extra, you want to avoid leaving it out in the open because they will start to turn brown. As you can see, they do turn a little bit brown because I did not do a lemon water bath. I didn't want the lemon water flavor to kind of ruin the cinnamon flavor that I'm going after. So we're just gonna keep loading these trays up. And again, anything extra, we're just gonna put them in a Ziploc bag and we're gonna go ahead and in this case, put them in the freezer. That way there, it kind of stops the browning and then they'll be ready to go. And right now where the tray's almost full, and we still got a lot of that juice left over. Now, my concern is with the actual marinade, it being that it's alcohol free, I don't know what it's gonna do now that it has the apples in it. See, with the Fireball, you got the actual alcohol in itself that prevents, the apple juices or whatever's in the apple itself from really causing the Fireball to go bad. I'm just a little concerned as to what's gonna happen if I try to save this marinade. You know what? That's actually pretty good. Look at that. That's 99% empty. So that was actually a right amount of apples. Do not ask me how many apples I used. You want to go back to the beginning of the video, maybe you guys can sit there and let's play a trivia game and count how many apples you think you saw on the counter, and go ahead and add that to the comments. Let's see who guesses correctly, kind of deal. Let's have some fun in Crazy Dave's Kitchen community here on both Facebook and as well as on YouTube. Go ahead and comment. Let's enjoy the fun. Let's put that off to the side. And there you go, guys. There are 4 beautiful trays of alcohol-free cinnamon apple fries off to the freeze dryer, standard setting. Let's get these babies in there. All right, guys, so now we went ahead and we loaded up the freeze dryer with the apple fries there. I had the freeze dryer on a pre-freezing mode when I was preparing the apple. That's great for timing. So kind of figure out, your method of timing so that way everything comes together at once. Make sure you go ahead and close that drain valve over here as well as the vacuum valve on the other side. Hit continue, let the freeze dryer do its magic. That's the amazing part of the freeze dryer. It's pretty simple to run these things. Over here on my left, you'll see that I got my dehydrator out here. It's kind of a clue to the next video, but I'm not gonna use it for that next video. What am I making? I'm gonna make some beef jerky for you guys. Not my typical award-winning teriyaki-based recipe. The wife wanted some original flavor this time, so I kind of played around. I have a sensitive palate, so I can kind of pick up on a lot of different flavors and aromas and so on and bring it all together. And I made an amazing jerky. And I did a trial run. In fact, I even threw it in my Rectech grill and I smoked it. Man, I wish I would have made more. So that's why upcoming is a video on Crazy Dave's original smokehouse jerky. All right, well, we're gonna let these babies sit in here for a little bit until they're all done. I'll bring you back when it's finished. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button so you get notified when that jerky video is produced. Well, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.